is Asinine Radio. This is the weekly music podcast where every week we get into, that's a nice face, dude. We get into a different band, different artist, and we listen to one of their records. We get into the music, the lyrics, how it was made, and everything in between. We are done with the Easy Hard season right now. We're doing Rage Against the Machine today. This was a request from a friend of the pod, Isaac. He's wanted us to do Rage for a long time, but we haven't done it Rage in many years because we have another podcast that we've done on the side over the years called Rage Against the Pod, and that's where we do a different Rage song every single episode. But it was very time consuming for a while, so we stopped doing it for a while. People have asked us to keep doing it or start it up again, but we're just honestly too lazy to do it. But so here you go, Isaac. This episode is for you. So what Rage album are we doing today, Jeff? Go.
We're doing Bola, Battle of LA.
Battle of Los Angeles. So yeah, while you're listening, go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, give us 5 stars. If you're watching on YouTube, smash that subscribe button. Obviously, my name is Tyler, and obviously, way out there, hundreds of miles away, is Jeff. So with that, Rage Against the Machine, the Battle of LA, or Bola, let's get into our origin story with Rage Against the Machine, and let's get into our origin or our first impressions on the Battle of LA. What do you got? Go.
My origin story is the first thing I got from Rage was Evil Empire. My mom was a part of Columbia House, the record club thing, record meaning CDs back in the day. I don't remember what it was, but was it like you pay like $10 a year plus a penny per CD or some shit like that?
Something like that, yeah.
Like looking back on it now, it's like, dude, that's a fucking good deal. Like, why would you not do that? Like, people like complain like, oh, but if you didn't pay, they would charge you, or if you didn't pick an album, they would charge you. It's like, so what? They charge you like $10 a month? You just get one fucking CD. CDs were $24.99 back then. They're fucking expensive.
That's crazy. It was more than. I think it was like $50 a year or something like. I don't think it was $10. I think it was like $50 a year.
$50 a year, and every CD you got was a penny. Like fuck yeah, I would choose that. You pick 3 CDs, it's now worth it. So yeah, that was like when we were like 10-ish, and I was just like because it would give you like if you like The Offspring, you will like this. And so Evil Empire was my first introduction to Rage, and I don't know what the fuck to think. That was that was so much different than what I normally listen to. The alt rock scene, kind of like we're fucking like 10, 12 years old, right? Like the fuck do I know? But it was enticing. It was so taboo and forbidden. He was like swearing a lot. It was kind of like this hip hop thing, but it wasn't like gangster rap. It was something different. It was fun. It was fun, and I liked it. But that's what I got for you, baby boy.
That's what you got. All right, my origin story. The first song I remember ever hearing was "Sleep Now on the Fire." I saw the video for that on MTV. I don't remember what show on MTV, but it was MTV, and I just instantly I was hooked. I just would listen to Rage all the time, and then I started realizing, oh, they were playing a lot of Rage on Gay Rock, so I started taping those songs. But I was never allowed to get the CDs because they had a parental advisory sticker. My mom would say, no, devil worshiping music, no, blah, 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 blah. And so I was never allowed to buy it. So what I did was I got the POD CD from this, I don't even remember, whatever, the song with Rock the Party, whatever album that was. I got that on CD, and I traded this guy, Brandon Adams, in 7th grade. I traded him my POD CD for his Rage Against the Machine Battle of Los Angeles CD.
Damn, bro.
And fucking, I traded POD for Rage.
Brandon got fucked.
Yeah, Brandon got fucked, yeah. Brandon Adams. I wonder what happened to that guy.
I was going to say, like, if you still know who he is or you're friends with him, you should ask him, do you remember that time?
I'm not friends with him anymore, but I remember it was in science because we had a science class together. And I said, and we were talking about music, and I said, oh, I have a POD CD. He's like, oh, I really like that POD song. I'm like, oh, you want to trade? I like that Rage song. And then so we traded CDs right there, right in science class.
Brandon got fucked.
We got fucked hard. So I had that one, thinking? And that's my origin story. Is this album and Sleep Now on the Fire. So
Sleep Now with Fire.
So there you go. So first impressions with this record. What do you got? And then we'll get into stinkers, bangers, and everything in between.
First impressions with this record is when it came out, it was like, damn, this record is amazing. Like every song on here is the best song I've ever heard. And then you kind of get to the second half, and you're kind of like, okay, this definitely is not great. It's not very good. These are skippable tracks. the more you kind of like get older, you start to appreciate the second half. But this record is built to be it's top heavy. It fucking straight up is top heavy for radio play. And these songs are great, but that's just how we constructed records at this time.
Yeah.
So it took a long time for me to really get into this record. Because like the second half is about the lyrics, dude. Like that's where it's at. The second half is not about catchy riffs. It's not about like complexity in the instrumentation. It's about Zach. It's about Zach and him growing as a songwriter and coming into his own.
Yep. 100%. Yeah. That's my first impression. It's top heavy, but it's of its time. We're still at this point in music where, you know, they're still kind of viewing CDs and I mean, vinyl is long gone at this point, but they're viewing it like, oh, people are only going to listen to side A. Let's make it top heavy. And they were still doing it with CDs at this time, unfortunately. So yeah, it's very radio friendly. I mean, the big 3 singles off this are track 1, track 2, and track 5, which was very common, very, very common. Stupid, but common. So with that, yeah, it did take a long time for me to truly appreciate the second half of the record. I wouldn't say, I mean, there's a couple later track songs which are the best songs on the record, but I mean, as a radio band, yeah, the first half is superior, certainly superior, but lyrically, the second half is some of the best lyrics Zach he's ever written are on the second half of this record, like easily. So that's my first impressions. You know, we go with stinkers, but honestly, there are no stinkers on this record. There's not even close to anything. There's no stinker. Absolutely not.
I don't think all 4 of the records have no stinkers. I wouldn't say any of the songs on any of the 4 records are a stinker.
I agree. Yeah, there's no stinkers. No stinkers. Maggie's Farm gets right in the line between an okay song and a good song, but it's still not even close to a stinker. Still not even close. So let's go with some. Honestly, let's go with like our 5 biggest bangers. You and I talked about this, I think, off the pod briefly, but you know, we have the other podcast, Rage Against the Pod. So at this point, I think we're only going to really talk about the songs we've already done on Rage Against the Pod. That way, it could be more fresh for us when we do that other podcast. We finish that podcast. So we've done 7 of these songs on the other podcast already on Rat Pod. So the other 5, I'm fine not really talking about those too much. So I think the songs are it's Calm Like a Bomb, Mic Check, Born as Ghosts. We haven't done New Millennial Homes, and I don't think we've done War Within a Breath. Those are the only ones we haven't done on the other podcast. Otherwise, we've done everything else. So let's get into that. I mean, what's your number 1 banger? What's your favorite song on here?
My favorite Rage Against the Machine song is Ashes in the Fall. It's been my favorite for many, many moons. That is my favorite song. First time I heard it until like fucking now. It's my favorite Rage Against the Machine song. My favorite song had my favorite Rage lyric, and it's got my favorite Rage lick. That guitar part is my favorite Rage lick.
Which the really high pitch that
yeah.
Oh, it's so obnoxious. So obnoxious. Yeah. So Ashes in the Fall is also my number 1 banger. It is the best song on this record. And I agree. It's not my favorite Rage song, but it's top 5. It's certainly top 5, maybe breaks top 3. It's a song nobody ever talks about. It's so late on this record. It's track 11 of the 12. And we did this we've already done this song on Rage Against the Podcast or Rage Against the Pod. So if you want to go listen to it, you can. But we're gonna still talk about it on this one. Maybe not go as in depth, but it'll still be fun. So what do you have musically on this one?
I mean, everybody's kind of doing something, but again, this is more like building like setting the stage. And when I was going through like lyrics and stuff, I remembered like what I had thought about this song and like how this was presented in my mind. And this is kind of like that's what I think in my mind. It's kind of like an apocalyptic kind of track. Apocalyptico, Mel Brooks, Gibson, one of the Mel's, Mel Blanc. It's kind of like an apocalyptic track. You know what I mean? Like Mel's, all the Mel's, Mel B, right? Mel C,
Who's Mel C?
Was it Mel C, Scary Spice? And Mel B
No,
was Sporty
Mel,
Spice?
no, I think Mel B was Scary Spice. I don't think there was a Mel C.
I think there was 2 Mels, though.
Was there? I don't know.
Anyway,
Anyway,
Spice
whatever.
Girls. You don't know anything.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
I think this song is built around Zach's storytelling, and I guess I'm just going to go over all my thoughts here because I have a lot of them, and we probably did like an hour of this one on Rage Against the Pod on Rap Pod. But I always imagine like he's telling the story. He's telling the story in a way where you see like hobos like over a trash can that's like on fire, and there's a fire coming out of the trash can, and they're like warming their hands on the trash can, but they're wearing the fingerless gloves, right? Where the fingers are hanging out, little digits are coming out. And I imagine like Zach is like telling this story. He's like, all right, here's a story. Listen to this. And then like it goes into this story. And then he kind of like goes through it, the emotions or whatever. And at the very end, when he's like, ashes in the fall, and that's kind of like,
so good.
That's kind of like him leading up to like, see, and that's what fucking happened. And like the song kind of just ends. Like it's a perfect, like on its own, it's a perfect storytelling like device. It's great, but it's just like this is a Zach song, dude. Like how most of these 100%. Songs in the latter half are just Zach songs.
They are.
So everyone else is just you have to play to the song. Tom, he's playing this to the song. That riff does make the song though. Without that riff, the song still would have been fucking a banger. But that riff just like, damn, bro, you just turned this shit on its head.
Yeah, you just wanted to make the most annoying sounds on your guitar, and that's what you did. But it's still kind of melodic, and it
came fucking out perfectly.
Yeah,
and he plays it faster live too, like not that fast, but he does play it a lot faster live, and I like that. That's cool. And like the ending part too, like the ending part, it's Tom's still like doing it. He's still not doing the riff, but he's still like playing to the song, playing to the idea that Zach is just telling a story. I like that.
I like it too. I really, really like it. So yeah, this is my one number one banger as well. There's a lot of outside of that really high pitched riff, that main riff. Tom does a lot of like weird spacey sounding things and effects on his guitar as well. It's like, especially during the verses where it's just he's letting it just kind of wail. He's kind of like slowly hitting the wah pedal, just moving it up and down really slowly to really kind of extend that really annoying high pitched sound. And just building this, honestly, he's just building this soundscape. And then B-Dubs is just kind of being bombastic, like very John Bonham-esque on this one. Just big,
he's fucking loud, dude.
Really big crash hits, loud fucking snare. Timmy C really kind of lays back a little bit on this one. He's there. He's not doing, not churching really anything up, but he doesn't need to because everybody else is churching it up. And like you said, Zach's lyrics. This is there's only one other song where I think the lyrics are better, but this is his storytelling on this whole record. But his storytelling on this one is fantastic. I mean, it's really inspired by NAFTA, which was enacted back in 1994, and it was essentially where we kind of allowed it so corporations from America can go to other countries, exploit the people, and not force them to work, but really make them work for next to nothing while they make a shit ton of money. And a lot of it's a lot about exploitation and destroying cultures and environments and towns and cities and countries in general. So that's the gist of it. And the way this song is kind of set up, it's each verse kind of has like a different viewpoint. Like the first verse is the viewpoint of the oppressed people. The second and third are more from the viewpoint of the oppressors, and obviously we can get way more into that and break that down more, which we did on Rage Against the Pod on the other podcast. So I don't want to get too deep into it because we got a lot more songs to get into on this one. But
there's a lot of stuff overall to get into. But
yeah,
touch upon it, be brief, but we're not going to be rap potting here.
Yeah,
on the stage. It's not what we should be doing.
It's not. Honestly, and you can go listen to Rage Against the Pod on any podcast app. It's just not on YouTube right now. Eventually, I'll put it on YouTube, but right now it's not. But Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeart, it's everywhere else. So go check it out. But also, you mentioned the one line, which is also one of my favorite lines in all of Zach's history, where he says, "Like the priest that fucked you as he whispered holy things." That line is...
Dude,
wow, that line is so intense.
I remember as a kid, and like this is still my like Catholic phase, and like I was going to church all the time, and CCD, and so like when I heard that, I was like, damn, bro, like even this is it's a little much for me. I can listen to the gangster rap stuff talking about killing people and bitches and shit and stuff like that. I can listen to Biggie like get head on fucking thing, and that's fine. But like when he said that, I remember thinking like, wow, that's too much. That's too much.
Same here. Same here.
That's
and
too much.
We're not even lyric men. Like this is not even something that would, but it's not even something that we would normally pick up on. But it was so shocking. Like, wow, that's fucked up. That's a really fucked up lyric, man.
It's vulgar and it's extremely descriptive and it's so brief. It's just one fucking
It's one line. That's it.
But that one line, man, that one line just like automatically whenever somebody says something, I'm like, oh fuck, now I'm gonna think about what you just said. Like, don't think about, like in Ghostbusters, when like don't think about anything. Like obviously you're gonna think about something, right? When someone says don't think about your worst fears, like what are you gonna do? I'm gonna think about my worst fucking fears. And that's what the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man came in. So in this thing, it's just like, damn, like what if like some priest was fucking me, whispering in my ear? I wouldn't like that. That's not good. Oh, and then then you get all weird about it, and then like now, just I'm still getting weird about it and fucking thinking way too into it. But it's a weird line. It's aggressive. It's aggressive even today.
It is. Yeah, very, very aggressive.
Some of the stuff that he said on this record, like even today, I'm like, damn, bro, this is even more aggressive today. Like post George Floyd kind of like riots in America, some of the things that he says on this record are more aggressive today than they were in the 90s.
I agree. I totally agree with that.
That's wild.
It's crazy how
that's fucking censorship.
It's
dude.
crazy,
that's crazy.
And like we've willingly censored ourselves. We've willingly censored ourselves. It's the whole state of affairs nowadays over the last 7-8 years are just it's crazy what we've done to ourselves as a society, on top of what corporations and the government have done to the people. It's crazy how we've
corporations cold turn you to stone
kind of
before you
ourselves.
Realize.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. But yeah, that one line it's
aggressive.
It's really aggressive, but it worked. We're still talking about it 25 years later. 25 years and a couple months later. We're still talking about it.
Dude, the part of the song too where like it sounds like he's like, listen to the fascist thing, take hope here, war is elsewhere, you were chosen. He's like, he's got a megaphone, right? This is like him as like a shitty politician, as someone who's just like spewing bullshit from their fucking mouth. Any, take a ticket here, take a number. Any politician that's garbage that's ever existed, and just spewing like war is elsewhere. This is God's land. It's like, damn, man, that's like they're still saying that shit.
Yeah. No matter the political party, no matter what it is, there's hatred thrown around. There's all this bullshit thrown around by every politician. I mean, it's fucked. It's
not to say that like Zach is this like messiah that the world needed to open our eyes, because like
agreed,
a lot of musicians do it. Like Bob Dylan did it. Even like there's a lot of musicians that did it. I bring up Bob Dylan because you hate him so much, but a lot of musicians have done it over time, and they will continue to do it. But it's just interesting because like Zach's lyrics they have not aged well because they've gotten worse, and they've gotten worse because like, damn, bro, like we've gotten soft
because society. It's not that his lyrics have gotten bad. It's just society has gotten worse. It's gotten softer. So the lyrics are more, they're actually, honestly, the lyrics now in 2024, 25 are more effective than they were, I feel, in 1999, 2000.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, they are, because I mean, right now, as Americans, like a lot of the stuff that Zach talks about on this record, a lot of that shit was brushed under the rug. A lot of people in the media didn't talk about it. This is before social media, so people on the various sites there was nothing to even talk about. There's nowhere to talk about it, I should say. But now, all this stuff has come out over the years, and everybody knows about it, and we've become almost desensitized to it. But when somebody like the way Zach has a very commanding voice, and when he speaks, it's like you have to listen, and it's like, wow, this guy's like really serious. Like you can't deny, like even if he's telling you something that's wrong, like I don't know, I don't even know where I'm going. I'm just talking.
No, it's true. Like Zach has a commanding voice. He has a commanding voice because he puts his mouth so close to the mic that it's kind of blown out, and you can hear like the nasaliness in his noise, where his noise is right here.
His
noise. You can hear the nasaliness in his nose, And so I think because of that, it just gives you the impression that he's always shouting, and he kind of always is fucking shouting. He never really sings. It's always just like a loud shout, and then he'll go into like the whisper talk thing, and then go back into a loud shout. And that's kind of like his singing, but he does have a very commanding voice, and he knows. See, more knows. He knows when to throw words or when to throw phrases like the priest that fucked you. He didn't say like the priest that fucked you. It's like the priest that fucked you. And he emphasizes the fuck part almost to the point where like that's the focal point of that line, of that verse. And so it's right in the middle of the third verse. So now you are fully hooked into the next like 3 or 4 lines he's going to spit out, which leads into the chorus. Like he knows when to grab your attention. Like, I don't know if this is true. This is like an anecdote that I've heard. I'm just going to fucking just
go for it.
Go off here. But like I've heard that the Beethoven, like the reason why that was so loud is because Beethoven was kind of deaf, and like he couldn't really hear if people were like yawning or clapping or whatever. So to keep people awake, he would go da, 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 like that really loud, kind of wake everybody up, and like that kind of dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's cool. That's a good way to like keep people's attention. And I think that's probably hyperbolized, but that's what Zach does here. He's keeping your attention by throwing it like right smack. I think it's right smack in the middle of this fucking verse. It's the priest that fucked you. I'm like, damn, bro, that's crazy. That's the only time he cusses on that fucking verse.
Yeah. That's another thing too, is that like he doesn't have to cuss a lot. He really, really doesn't. And it's honestly, it's more effective. That's why like a song like Killing Them the Name, when he says fuck you, I won't do what you tell me over and over again, it's like, okay, this is exhausting. This is kind of boring.
But that's their first record, though. I know, come out swinging.
I know, I get it. But my point is, like, you don't need to curse to really show your emotion or show the.
You don't need to, but sometimes cussing is the best. And Semmergren said this all the time. She says,
our old drama teacher. Yeah,
our old drama teacher. That for people that have no idea what I'm talking about,
everybody,
our drama teacher from high school would always say like cussing is a crutch. When you swear, you're dumbing yourself down to like the lowest common denominator, unless it fits the scene, right? Unless like you're actually mad and you're emphasizing a point. And sometimes swearing is effective because it's such an afterthought. It's such like I will exhaust every possible resource, but I'm so mad that I need to say the word fuck right now. And that's what Zach is doing here. And I think that's what he did on Killing the Name is like, we've exhausted everything else now. Now I have to be here. Now you called me here because of your inaction. And that's why the first record is so good, is because we never heard him cuss like that before. And we never heard him cuss like that after. Like, he's never done anything like Killing the Name of. That's wild.
So let's move on from Ashes in the Fall. Once again, if you want to hear more about, because we really broke down this song hardcore on that episode of Rage Against the Pod, so go check it out.
Some of those episodes were like an hour long for one song. Yeah.
But also, there was a time when we were doing like we were talking shit about a bunch of people covering the songs, like how bad they were, which was fun too. Though. Yeah, those are fun. But Ashes in the Fall, that I do remember, that was a really good episode we did on that podcast several years ago. So go check it out. So then what's your number 2 banger, 2B?
My 2B, and this only stems because of Rap Pod. Like my 2B for sure would have been different. Like it probably would have been like Sleep Down the Fire or Testify or Guerrilla Radio. But like Maria's my 2B because I'm just like shocked. I was so fucking shocked at how great Zach was at writing this one. And that, like, I was really into poetry at the time, and I was like, fuck yeah, dude. I read a couple books in my life. So like I was really getting into it. And that one, I think I've read like 3 books in my life. They're all in high school, by the way.
Maybe one was in college, but the rest, yeah.
You know what's crazy though? Here's how stupid fucking high school is. All right, and here's how stupid.
I thought you were gonna say how stupid books are.
No, I really just don't read a lot of books. I don't, because I don't want to, and I don't want to invest the time into doing something for hours on end, and then like, man, I fucking hate this. As opposed to like a movie, I can get halfway through a movie and like, this movie sucks, dude. I will turn it off. I can get 2 hours into a video game. If it sucks, I'm just gonna turn it off.
You could do the same with a book. I've done it with books.
I don't know how fast you read. I don't know how fast people read because I don't read that often. Maybe I read really slow. But 2 hours into a big fat book, like I'm not that deep into that book. So that's also kind of tough. But like I like going to Bookman's, and Bookman's the local joint here. I've read more books since I lived out here than I probably have in my entire life because I can go and just pull shit that I want to fucking read.
That's a bookstore, dude.
Almost like it's a library or something.
Like you're acting like this is some big revelation. It's like,
dude. But it's cool because you can trade them back in. They give you like a lot of store credit, and
it's
like,
a lot.
So if I buy
a library is
$10.
A library is free. You don't have to pay for
but
anything.
Libraries are boring. I can't talk to anybody. There's not people walking around like, oh, what are you looking for? They're not talking about music and shit, and there's not like collectibles there. It's not an inviting atmosphere.
So you're looking more to socialize rather than read a book.
I don't want to go to a library and just. I'm not a fucking nerd, bruh. I don't want to go to a library looking for that. Hey, dude, like, do you have the new Dickens novel? Like, no, I don't want to do that.
The new Dickens novel that was written in 1857 or some shit like that.
I want to go to the bookstore and talk to the same person that I've seen come to my record store and be like, oh yeah, dude, like I really liked this fucking, I don't know, whatever the fuck it was. I mean, the last thing I read was I bought another Hamlet thing and I reread that one. But like the point was, I actually bought another extraterrestrial book too. It was like $8. But I want to talk to somebody when I go there. I don't want to go to a library. It's fucking boring. It's fucking weird. Like everyone's like, shh. I like to talk. I like to be loud. I don't know.
Yeah, you are loud. You are loud. I get it.
I like to be loud and talk.
You like to make noise. You just like to make.
I like to make noise.
Yeah, you like to make noise. You don't even have to
talk. When I go to Bookman's, I know almost everybody that works there now. And we talk. And we're like, oh yeah, like talk about music, talk about movies. And I'm like, what do you read? What do you like? And like, oh, I like this and this and this and this. And like, okay, cool. Almost like Gene's picks from the Seinfelds. Whatever. But like, what do you like to read? Like, how long is it? I don't want to have a long book. Is it complex? Is it hard to read? Like, there's all these different things that go in. And I guess I don't know, dude.
But you can go to a library and kind of ask those questions. You can.
Who, the old ladies that work there that are a million years old? Do you understand that I don't go to libraries? So my concept of what a library is like literally like Indiana Jones, like going. Remember she stamping the thing?
Yeah.
Like old ass lady, and why are they always ladies? Why can't guys be librarians either? It's fucking irritating.
Okay, all right.
Old ladies work in libraries, and they don't like anything except just to be quiet.
Just to be quiet. And you definitely don't like quiet.
Anyway, they play music over the thing.
Anyway, we're talking about Maria here. That's your Tubi. That's also my Tubi.
Yeah, that's what it was here. I got into more poetry in this era since I lived out here. Like dove deeper into it. And I remember when Maria hit, I was just blown away by Zach's writing. Like blown away.
Yeah.
Did not think this could come out of that dude.
The storytelling on this song, like I said, this is my number 2 banger. And I mean, when we did this on Rage Against the Pod, on Rap Pod, I was blown away by this song. Like his storytelling, the lyrics, everything on here is fantastic. It's very straightforward, but the way he raps or he tells the story and the way he emphasizes certain words, certain lines, and parts of the story is just, it's spectacular. It's truly, truly spectacular. I mean, musically, it's cool. I mean, it's Tom doing that, just that bam, bam, just hitting that one
droning kind
of guitar, like high guitar note. There's some effects thrown on there, but he's hitting that. Timmy C's just ripping it up. He's like, he's just going, he's all over the place, constantly going. B-Dubs is just keeping that beat super solid. And Zach just does his thing, man. Everybody just kind of sits back, does their thing, while Zach just fucking rips it up. And just the story, like every verse is a different part of Maria's story. Like the choruses are her essentially like after death, like what her life should actually inspire people to do and rise up and do. But every verse, like the first verse is Maria essentially being kidnapped from her home in Mexico, or thinking she was coming to America for a better life, but in fact she was being trafficked to essentially be a slave here in America for some company, some corporation. And then as the verses go on,
from Jalisco.
Yeah, and as the verses go on and the each line goes on, it tells the story how she's being abused by the boss, and it gets worse and worse and worse, and then he kills her, and and how this is like a very common occurrence. Back then it was very common, and now I'm sure it's even more common.
It's still fucking insanely common. Like human trafficking is especially out here in Arizona, dude. It's fucking wild.
Yeah. I think I've told you this story. Like when I was like Uber driving for that month I was doing it, I picked up some lady from Anaheim here, and her daughter was like, yeah, she doesn't speak any English at all. Just take her here. It was out, I don't know, it was fucking not Cerritos. It was somewhere, it was like South Bay, like if anybody knows, like Long Beach area, like kind of Long Beach area. And I took her out to this random house, and once again, she didn't speak any English. And she brought a suitcase with her, and she brought all the stuff with her. And I remember I asked the daughter, I was like, oh, okay, that like the suitcase, am I taking her to the airport or whatever? She's like, no, you're taking her to this house. And I show up to this house, and it was just like this kind of like really kind of rundown house. And I felt really weird. She was like a lady in like her mid 50s, late 50s. And I just felt awkward. Like why is she bringing this suitcase here? Like it was weird. Like the daughter was weird about it too. I don't know. It seemed very, very strange.
On the surface, right? Like that lady is she belongs to somebody. That's a migrant worker / slave. That's what that sounds like. She has a suitcase because she's now getting sent out to wherever her next job is going to be for the next 6 months to 2 years. That's what that sounds like to me.
Yeah, and I mean, when I say it right out loud, it sounds really stupid, but in the situation that I was in and the way I was talking, the way the daughter was talking to me, it wasn't like, oh, she's going to like her sister's or her kid's house or to go like, visit for a couple of days or fly somewhere else. It sounded like, because she said like, oh, she was going there to do some work or some shit like that. It was something bizarre like that. And it was really I just felt uncomfortable doing it, taking this lady there, but I don't know. That's my little anecdote. My little anecdote with it.
That's a good anecdote though, because that kind of comes full circle. Hit you with the song Maria, and Maria, like the name Maria, right? That's the most like generic, non-descriptive. That's like the Jane Doe for Mexican ladies. Like that's the most generic thing you could call like a Mexican. Oh, Maria. That's, you know what I mean? That's what us like Americans say. Like, oh, they're Maria. I can't think of any other descriptive name for any other ethnicity that I would think. Like maybe like Jacques, right? For French people. Like I would think all males are named Jacques in France. Like Pierre or something. Pierre
Escargot. Yeah.
Pierre Escargot. That's a deep cut right there. But yeah, so because I mean the music I really don't care that much about, but the lyrics here, dude, they're so fucking good. And I think the first verse, this whole song is just all about sadness, all about just death and destruction. It's the most aggressively sad, depressing, fucked up song like Zach's ever written. This is there's no like moment of sunshine that peeks through the curtains on this one. It is all fucked up. And verse 1, he immediately sets up this song, and he immediately sets up like the stage as these people are just objects, right? The human contraband. They are not people. They're just objects. And we are now already thrown into like, okay, this is about people that are not people. They're something different. They're objects they're tools essentially that they can be manipulated and things like that. And it's tragic to think that the character Maria almost like instantly regrets the decision in the first verse.
She does. Like she because it says like
there's a lot of ambiguity in this song, though.
They stuff her into the truck bed, she clutches her cross, like she immediately like is praying to God like everything's going to be okay.
Right. And that's just, I mean, that's a very God-fearing thing to do. If you're a God-fearing person, you're always gonna have your cross on you. So we don't actually like see her, hear her. It's implied that she's regretting her decision, but we don't know that for sure. Good songwriting. And later on too, when she dies, like, did she commit suicide? Was it an accident? Was it like something that maybe somebody sabotaged her? That's also very like ambiguous. I almost said ambiguous. That would have been weird.
Ambiguous. We're just making up words.
Ambiguous.
Well, I mean, I
that's good songwriting.
I think that she commits suicide because the line is, As if in a dream, eyes on the crimson stream, numb as her wrist, spit shots of blood to the floor. I am nothing, no one, nobody, no more. Like this sounds like she's committing. I mean, the whole wrist thing, watching the blood stream out of her wrists, and it's descriptive as hell, but it's, oh my god, it doesn't come off as cheesy. That's another thing with Zach. Like he could be very on the nose and tell you exactly what he wants you to see, but it never comes off as dumb, as cheesy, or yeah, dumb and cheesy are the best ways to not describe Zach and his lyrics.
And I think because I don't know. I'm like half and half, like the creamer. I'm not fully on board with that she committed suicide, because she's sewing and stuff. Like she's in a factory, and like, dude, there's so many fucking accidents that happen in factories, especially in like unsanctioned factories that are not like abided by OSHA standards. Like, dude, these guys are all fucking just dying left and right, getting maimed, getting their, like Johnny Cash, right? Got his brother died in a factory. So like everybody's just dying over here. So I'm not fully convinced that she committed suicide, but I do think, I don't think that's essentially the point. I think the point of that line was that like she is looking down at her arms bleeding out, and she's kind of like, fuck, man, all the things that I wished would not have happened to me are now happening to me. And that's that. And like, I love this line so much, but I am nothing, no one, nobody, no more. And she has finally realized that, like, damn, I am a nobody. I will be forgotten in about 20 minutes. They're going to bury me somewhere, just like these mountains that used to be my people's, and they are not mine anymore. I will be nothing to nobody ever. And people will forget my name and harken back to the name of the title of the track, Maria. Right? It's not like a specific name, like, oh, Jeffrey Rebecca Anstead is the name of this fucking thing. You gotta use my last name.
No, use my last name. Use your first name. I got
scared. It's not like a specific name. It's just like a generalization. He didn't say Jane Doe, right? This song's not called Jane. It's called fucking Maria. And that's a deliberate attempt to be like, oh, dude, it's so aggressive. Everything about this is just so fucking aggressive and sad and tragic. And the chorus, dude, is just telling you, bro, this girl is going to die. Like, she is going to die. The whole like metaphor for the sun appearing only to like disappear. Like that's her life. She is now like started a new life in America, and it's not going to last. Yeah. She's eternally here. Like that means she is going to die in the same land that was taken from her forefathers or mothers. And she is going to be nothing. She's going to be nobody. No one's ever going to remember your name. And that's like true for like all of us, right? Like it's pompous and conceited to think that like we're going to make an active impact on the way the world turns in 100, 200 years from now. But like, damn, bro, not to be, but like for like, damn, the body's not even like cold yet. You know what I mean? Like, Jesus Christ, like at least give a little bit more respect on that.
Yeah. But the lyrics, the lyrics, honestly, are what set this song apart from the whole rest of the record. I think this is his best storytelling on this entire record. And honestly, all of the records or all the songs that we've done on Rage Against the Pod, this is my favorite song lyrically, hands down. My favorite song lyrically.
I would say that too.
Is Maria.
It was just okay. So like, also going back to the True Banger, was this? Give it like even before we started the pod, would this have been your 2B on this record?
100% no, not Maria.
Yeah,
not Maria.
For sure.
I would have honestly ranked Maria lower.
I would put this in okay. I would have said this is an okay song, skippable.
Yeah. But yeah, when you break down the lyrics, you really get into it, and then realize that everybody else in the band steps back. Timmy C, like I said, Timmy C still kind of rips it up, but he's still very subdued with what he's doing. But they really let Zach shine lyrically and vocally on this song, and it's fan-fucking-tastic. It's so fucking good. So
and that can kind of coincide to like why this band broke up, right? Like we've seen this band progress from record 1 to 2. Everybody progressed at the same rate, but from Evil Empire to Battle of LA, Zach progressed so much more than everybody else did. And I don't know if that was a Zach thing where he's like, hey dude, I have a lot of good ideas, just let me do my thing. and like maybe the band like decided to hold back. Like I don't know, but like the progression of Zach from Evil Empire to Battle of LA
It's huge.
is massive compared to everybody else progressing from Evil Empire to Bola.
All right, so let's get into third banger, number 3B. What is your 3B again?
Now Testify.
There we go. Let's get into Testify. That's a higher B for me. I forgot where I ranked it. I'm going up to my notes right now. Here we go. It's my 6B. 6B is Testify.
Sure about that?
Sure about that?
Wait,
what was that? What were we watching? Wait, hold on.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, the guy who does. You sure about that? That guy was in Ted Lasso. He was. Yeah, he was in the third season. He was Jamie's stepdad. Remember the one or two episodes where they go back to Manchester,
and his mom's wearing like the high heels and the way too tight shirt and like awkwardly hugging Jamie in very provocative, weird.
Exactly.
Maybe that's a Britland thing, but that was odd. Did you think that was weird too?
Like, I mean, that was the point. It was supposed to be weird.
Oh, okay.
It was 100% supposed to be weird. That's not how Britlanders are. I hope not.
That was. You sure about that guy?
I'm pretty. Yeah. Look, I'm pretty positive it is.
Looking at it. I'm trying to look at it right now.
Sure about that? You sure about that? I think it is.
We gotta find the sure about that guy's name, and I gotta look it up in Ted Lasso.
This is taking so long. Sure about that? Oh my god.
Tim Robinson is that guy's name. Tim Robinson, Ted Lasso.
Yes. No. Maybe so. I don't know.
I'm not seeing that here. So.
Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I don't know. Okay. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
So let's get into Testify. The opening song opener. They did make a video for this one too. I very vividly remember this video when it came out because it had the combination of George Bush and Al Gore, and they put it together as one person. Do you remember that shit?
There's a lot of things about this video that are memorable. Not only just that, but they also turned the music down at one point, and we could hear them talking. Like we could hear just like people talking, conversing. Like, what the fuck? As a kid, like what the fuck? Like, why are you turning the music down? Get these fucking people out of here. But also, like the videos on the surface as a kid, the video's shit. It's a fucking dumb video. It's stupid. It's shot poorly. But the older you get, you're kind of like, actually, that's a pretty good video. This is pretty fucking tight. And much like Michael Moore, when I was a kid, like I fucking hated Michael Moore. Much because my parents hated Michael Moore. Well, my dad hated Michael Moore. Conservative wasp from Yorba Linda. He hated Michael Moore. So therefore I hated Michael Moore. But the older I got, I was kind of like, you know what? No. This guy's kind of like the punk rock of the filmmakers, right? Just kind of like, hey, here's what I think, and fuck you if you think otherwise. I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I want to do. And that's cool. I dig that. But Testify, the music, I think this might be they have good openers. Like all the records, they have great openers, but this is their best opener. And
I would agree.
It's not just like the best opener, but like just the beginning part of the opening of the opener is like the best part of all of their openers.
Mm-hmm.
It's so fucking good. It's amazing. And Timmy C comes in, boom, 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 boom. Like, really? That's what you do? Like, we're 3 records deep, and we know you're a fantastic bass player, but all you do is boom, 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 boom. And he's like, yeah.
But also, it's like
for it.
Tom Morello, he does so little on this song. So the intro and the verses, he takes the fucking the cord out of his or the cable out of his guitar, and he just fucking hits the strings just like, and with a wah pedal. He has the wah pedal. He's touching the screen with his guitar cable and just making the noise, just making that noise. Just kind of like building like up and that fluctuation up and down, and then he plugs it back in, hits the big fucking the big choruses, and you get that kind of like funky little bridge part that he does, which is cool. But then you drop into that guitar solo, and you're like, what? I've never heard any guitar player do this. Like, I mean, he was already doing it in the verses, but hearing somebody do a solo like that, where he's not plucking the strings, he's using his guitar cable to fucking to play that guitar solo. That's literally what it is. It's just noise.
This is why Tom Morello is one of the greatest, like in a top list, but like he's not a top like 10, 20, but he is one of the greatest because of things like this. This is some shit like Hendrix would have done if he lasted a little bit longer. Like what Tom does with his guitar and makes noises, like it's fucking innovative and it's cool. And he's not just doing it just to be like an Yngwie Malmsteen and like, hey, here's what I can do. He's playing to the song. He is making noises that supplement everybody else. He's not being a dickhead about it. He's not taking over the song. If anything, like he's shining and then immediately falling back.
Yeah.
And that's pretty wild. But I think like much like how you don't like Killing in the Name because it's just overplayed, dude, Tom Morello, man, like come on, both of us agree. Like fuck off with Tom Morello love. It's just so irritating.
I agree, yeah.
But like this solo is fucking Tom Morello. This is what like made him a god to so many people.
I agree.
And I give him credit. It's
innovative.
It's innovative. It's groundbreaking. It's fun for a mass audience in a way most people have never seen, heard, or even like dreamed about, right? Who the fuck would do that? Like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
And he banned 3 records deep. Like, that's crazy. You are taking risks that you don't need to take.
I mean, in the end, he probably wasn't the first one to do this. I'm sure he wasn't the first one to do that.
Of course
that
not.
kind of shit. But for a band of this magnitude, being this large, to throw this onto a single, but not only that, but to throw it and make
opening track
and making it so that it play, like you said, it plays to the song, it plays to the soundscape, it plays. It's not just like a goofy, quirky part. Like it's literally embedded into the song. Like without that, him doing that in the intro and the verses with just the guitar cable, like the song would be completely different. Like it's so important to the song, and it's so basic and so stupid and so quirky, but it doesn't make it quirky and stupid. Like it's so well done, it's so well placed and just done for the song. Once again, done for the song. I love it.
I think I would probably like if I were to like make my own like top list, I think I would put Tom in top 20, because what I think he did here is anybody playing the guitar in this era was now like, holy shit, let me see what I can do with that, and unplugged that jack and hit their strings and seeing what they could do with that. Much like when Hendrix did the noises he did, people playing guitar back then were like, holy shit, what can I do with that? I think like inspiring musicians to be better musicians, to push themselves beyond the boundaries of what they thought they could, like what they thought the limitations were. Mm-hmm. I think Tom Morello, like, is one of the best at that. Like there's not many people that are better than Tom Morello at that. Like he's top 5 in that kind of like scope.
Yeah. And
that's,
I mean,
that's amazing. That's crazy.
In the 90s too.
I love that.
In the 90s too, he could write great fucking catchy riffs. Like he, in the end, as a guitar player, he's a really good guitar player. He's a very good guitar player.
He's a metal Keith Richards, bro. He writes like good riffs.
Yeah, okay, that's a good way
riffs,
to put
it. They're all
they're basic.
I just saying his praises, but like
they're basic.
They're all the same. They're all the same.
They're the same. They're basic, but he's a good songwriter. He was a good songwriter. He was a good
songwriter. He was a good riff writer. He wrote like DMX riff writer. He was a good person for he was a good person for Rage Against the Machine. Yeah. But damn, like I can't help but think like some kid, it just, I don't know, dude, like you're playing guitar at 15, 16, and even we were playing guitar and stuff and like trying to like do things different and just like experimenting. Like imagine listening to Rage, like holy shit, how do you do that? Oh, you just unplug the jack and do whatever you want now and make that kind of music. Like that's a cool concept to a child, right? That's just that's inspiring in a way that's just so fun and so innocent. And Tom Morello playing the guitar at this time, pretty much like this is the last time. And the Night Watchman too. I love the Night Watchman. But after this, Tom Morello's never played.
Do you have that on vinyl still? You used to have it, right?
No, I never had the Night Watchman on vinyl. I had it on CD, but
I had it on CD too. But
I would never purge Night Watchman on vinyl. That's a perfect record.
Why don't you have it?
I don't know if they pressed it, or I've never thought about it until we do Rage, and then I forget about it.
I could have sworn you had it on vinyl. I really thought you did.
I would like to think that like the last time we did Rat Pod. No, it was last year. We were collecting vinyl at that point.
Yeah, we've done rap. Yeah. We've done many Rat Pod episodes since we started collecting.
I don't know if they pressed it, but anyway, that's my contribution from Tom talking about it. It's cheesy, it's fucking hella cocky for sure, but god damn, that's not good. And I hate Tom, and I hate all he does, but he's just like people always talk about the Edge, how great Edge is. Like, man, fuck, are you kidding me?
Yeah, Tom is significantly
better.
One
solo is better than the entire career of Edge. Is it the Edge or Edge?
It's just
because if it's just Edge, that's even more irritating.
No, it's the Edge.
Fucking like oh, they're not called the Deftones, they're called Deftones.
No, it's
fucking
the
annoying.
Edge. It's the Edge.
Okay,
and you know, you and I even talked about this way back when it came out, the It Might Get Loud documentary, where it was Jimmy Page, Jack White, and the Edge, and they were all just kind of noodling and talking about the guitar and their style and inspiration,
tone, and all that, search for the perfect tone.
And the Edge was just humiliated. He was humiliated. Like
it was his documentary. He put the money up for it, so of course he's going to be in it. But fucker,
it was. Honestly, he should have been replaced by Tom Morello. Like, Tom Morello should have been that
would have been so good.
And you and I talked about it way back then. What was that? 2008, 2009, maybe? Yeah. We talked about, like, Tom Morello should have been that third person. Like, it makes way more sense to have Tom, because Jimmy Page was the 70s, 80s. Who gives a fuck about the 80s? And then 90s, Tom Morello. 2000s, especially the early 2000s, mid 2000s. That's Jack White. Like, he was the guitar guy, like the main guitar guy that knew how to play. He knew how to write songs. He was really good at what he did.
Back in rock music,
exactly
the way it should be.
And there's also a shit ton of blues in Rage Against the Machine. Like, yes, they're a metal band, they're a rap metal band, whatever you want to call it, but there's so much blues in these songs. It's tucked away. It's hidden. It's not hidden, but it's very tucked away. But it's all there. The blues riffs are there.
It is
100%. So anyway, yeah, musically the song's great. Lyrically, we broke this down a lot on Rap Pod. Go check it out. But in the end, kind of like the summary of this song lyrically, it's about media manipulation. Now, it talks about how the entertainment media is there to kind of pacify you, make you just kind of like not dumb you down, but pacify is the best way to put it. But then right after that, they'll show you videos and pictures of war and people dying and bloodshed and all that kind of shit. And then they'll show something else to help, it's just the way the media manipulates people's psyche is crazy. And it's been studied for many, many decades. And then nobody's held accountable for the actions of government and whatever. And even the media itself, the way it manipulates people. I mean, we saw this with COVID 4 years ago, how the media manipulated people and society. I mean, it was, regardless of how you feel about all that stuff, the media was it created a lot of the panic.
Yeah, COVID was pretty wild. COVID's something they're going to talk about if we last that long, or for centuries to come.
Yeah.
That was like truly like a divide and conquer, in so many ways for our country, at least. It spawned some division. It spawned some division.
A lot of it. But a lot of that was led by the media. Oh,
like 90% of it was led by the media, because it wasn't like thoughtful, like democratic division to where we're like, I agree. I see where you're coming from, but I don't agree. It was more like, no, dude, we can't be friends anymore if you think this.
It was crazy.
But we see that stuff with like politics too, and the new election. Unfriend me if this is how you feel, and say, okay, well.
I mean, honestly, the election, since even going back to George Bush, the second Bush, I mean, you saw it in 2004. That's when a lot of the divide started, and it's just gotten progressively worse with every single election. The divide amongst people and politicians, because people worship these politicians. It's disgusting.
At least back then, though, like if you hated somebody, you had to tell them to their face, like, I hate you because you voted for this person. That was back when, like, Facebook, you had to be a college student to have a Facebook account. I did. Stupid. Like, when I first got my Facebook account, I had to put my college email address in order to get a Facebook account.
We're old, dude.
And now it's just like you can be a dickhead to whoever you want to be at any point in time, because there's no consequences whatsoever.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Stupid. It's all stupid. The world sucks, but anyway. The world
doesn't suck. It's great. It's just
it sucks in some reasons. Yeah, government sucks. Yeah.
You know what's crazy too is just here, because we've done all these songs, most of these songs with Rap Pod, and we're gonna do most of the ones, and we can talk about whatever the fuck we want to talk about. Isaac Hayes, if that's your real fucking name. You know what's also crazy too is the fact that this guy Luigi Manticore, what's his name? Luigi
Mangione.
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 Mangione. But like a lot of people that are either for him, against him, if that's even like a thing to be for him or against him, I guess. I don't know. But a lot of stuff is being taken down. It's being taken down. And again, these are private platforms owned by private people. But at some point, like when you're when like Facebook is so fucking big, it becomes like it just inevitably is going to become not a private thing anymore. And the censorship just can't exist anymore. You just can't fucking do it, dude. Like, where do you draw the line? So anyway, the Luigi Mangione thing, which like, even like talking about it now, it's probably get this podcast fucking banned. But
whatever.
Like I don't feel bad when people that are bad die.
So
like exactly.
We're not
I don't feel bad when people are bad die. Like I feel bad that a human life has been lost because that's just a fucking waste, right? It takes so much effort just in like DNA and things happening to make a human life exist, and for it just to be wasted as fuck, man. That sucks. That's just like, whatever God is out there, whatever is creating us, that is a lot of fucking work just to be wasted. But like, I just don't care that much when somebody I just don't give a fuck about, who's kind of probably a bad dude, dies. And so for like all of these platforms to be deleting posts and banning accounts because they're kind of saying the same thing I'm saying, because they're not like, I'm not condoning it, they're not condoning it, but like, I just don't care, right? And so they don't care.
It's more indifference than anything else.
It's indifference. It's an aggressive indifference.
But it's more that
I'm putting it very tactfully. I'm putting it very nicely than I would if we were in person. But you see it though. Like this guy Luigi Mangione, the first day he had his GoFundMe up, it went like $250,000 in like 3 days.
Yeah,
and then GoFundMe pulled it. And I guess there's another GoFundMe page that's not GoFundMe, but it's a different page that won't pull. But you can donate to drug dealers and shit if you want. But that page went up to fucking like $500,000, some shit. Like everybody likes this guy. He's this folk hero. But like, regardless if he's a folk hero, if you like him or hate him, it's just like the censorship, right? And we on another song on this album talk about that guy Mumbai Ali
Mumia
something.
Yeah, he in the 1970s he killed a police officer, or supposedly he killed a police officer. But there was a lot of like weird evidence that came up, and a lot of evidence showed that he was actually framed, and he didn't there's a lot of conflicting evidence. Let's just say that.
Right.
And a lot of people believe that he is innocent. And Zach he's written many lyrics about this guy, and about his innocence, and how, white men are able to get away with it, and especially police are able to get away with it, and all that kind of stuff.
I think that was the biggest takeaway. And like for me, when I kind of reread it now, and I think I read it more back when we did the song on the pod.
Yeah.
I thought, I was just like, oh yeah, this guy probably fucking killed him. Like, I get it. But that's not the point, right? The point is like, this guy didn't get a fair trial. He didn't get a fair shake. He was held unreasonably, to where like his like white counterpart, and because he was like disseminating like anti-government pamphlets, and he was a part of protests and things, so he's probably targeted. So like the point is like, he's not getting a fair shake in the eyes of the law as his like counterparts are. Like that's the injustice there. Not whether he killed somebody. That's beside the point. That's a different thing to talk about. And I think that's what's going on with this Luigi Mangione guy. Like why are you banning accounts that are trying to feed into his thing? Because he hasn't been convicted yet, right?
No, so that's okay. So there's a couple things that go along with that. He hasn't been convicted. He's only been arrested and accused of things. Within, 3 days of him being arrested, CNN had come out with this like full documentary about this guy 3 days after this. Like it wasn't just
immediately monetized.
It was just
that
like,
shit.
it was almost instantly. Not only
that's
that,
okay.
Not only that. So I'm not an expert on the law. Neither of us are, but this is only from what I've kind of just seen on the outside. I haven't done like a deep dive into all of it. But how laws have changed over the last 25 years, especially since 9/11, and how we charge people with terrorism can be kind of insane. So they're charging Luigi Mangione with on terrorism charges because they were finding that if he got an actual trial with the jury, that the jury was more sympathetic toward him,
absolutely,
rather than the victim of the murder. And so they supposedly a lot of things were done to where they ended up charging him on terrorism, because when you have a terrorism charge, there's no jury at all. So, and I honestly wouldn't be surprised if that was the actual fucking case, because there's so much money in pharmaceuticals and corporations. Pharmaceutical is like one of the biggest corporations in the world, some of the biggest corporations in the world. There's a lot of money thrown around, and if they can't control the media in a certain way, and if people are sympathizing with this guy who just randomly killed a CEO,
some dickhead that's fucked over so many families, like,
I don't know. There's just a lot of weird things going on.
Killing's bad, okay,
and just the amount of censorship is wild. I mean, there's always been censorship. We've seen it every election cycle, every major event in history has some sort of corruption and censorship. Whatever. There's so many roads we can go down that it's not even worth going down.
It's a pretty wild time for us over here, and there's a lot of fucked up things that are happening in our backyard that are just not talked about enough. Mm-hmm. Like the New Orleans. I mean, again, this is not like a political podcast where we could talk about the New Orleans.
But we're also talking about Rage Against the Machine.
Like, damn, bro, like that's crazy to think that like we are going to go about our normal lives when there are like literal acts of terrorism happening, and we're just not gonna. I don't know. We're gonna move on. Yeah, so that was Testify, right?
Yeah, let's hope that Isaac doesn't hate us now after we talk shit on both sides of.
Is he from America?
Yeah, I think he's like.
We have a lot of like weird pings in like South America too, in like the Brazil and Chile area. So
that one guy from Chile, the one that reached out to us a couple years ago, Chile. I saw he still listens too. Like I saw him like some of our posts, and I still see like listens from that country too. I'm like, hell yeah, fuck yeah, dude.
Good.
He was really nice.
Like harbor wasn't Chile like non-extradition for like for the Nazi warlord criminals that fled World War II?
I think you're thinking of Argentina and Brazil.
I'm pretty sure like Chile was a part of that too.
It probably was, but
correct me if I'm wrong, guy that lives in Chile, but like
I mean the big countries were Argentina and Brazil, but yeah, I think probably Chile was a big safe space. Safe space
Argentina
from
and Brazil. Chile was so far removed from that.
Safe space for Nazis.
Safe space for Nazis, man. That's like the worst of it. There's nothing worse than you can possibly be. Fucking A, dude. I also want to talk about the Audioslave cover of Testify. Are we still doing Testify?
Yeah, we're still on Testify, yeah.
Gotcha. Do you want to talk about the Audioslave cover
fucking
of Testify?
Do it. It's terrible.
Like Cornell, man. Like, dude, just stay in your lane, man. You know what I mean? Like, you're one of the best like rock singers of all time. Just relax. Just stay in your lane. Like what you did on this song was embarrassing. It was embarrassing.
It's really bad. So they did Killing in the Name, and they did Testify. Yeah, it's fucking terrible. So bad. And they did it in Cuba. I think maybe it wasn't Cuba. It was somewhere in Central America, but it was somewhere where most bands don't play. So maybe it was Cuba,
or Chile,
or that's South America, dude.
Is Cuba considered Central America?
Yeah. Well, I mean, technically, I think Cuba is North. It's technically North America, because most of Central America is North America.
Well, like Central America would be like below where we live, right? Like Arizona, California, but Cuba is like Florida. So, but like,
but that's still North America.
Globe,
that's still North
matches
America.
Up. I'm looking at a map now.
Cuba is still North America.
But like Cuba matches up more with Mexico than it does like California.
Yeah.
So like on a
But
sphere, on a globe, it's central.
It's
in
more
that
central, yeah.
equatorial range.
Yeah. I don't know. Why are we talking about geography? Jesus Christ.
Well, because I'm curious. Dude, Cuba's like fucking like Honduras, bro. It's like all the way down there. Huh. Cuba's a lot bigger than I thought it was too.
Cuba.
Cuba. Havana, Cuba.
Havana, Cuba.
Shout out to my little friend. All right, I think we're pretty much just probably like gonna wrap this one up here.
That's possible. I mean, we should at least get through like a couple more songs.
Okay, we can run through them. I
don't want to run. Fuck, I don't want to run through them.
I have stupid notes for everything. So
because once again, we've done most of these songs on Rage Against the Pod. So if you really want to talk about us like really diving deep into these songs, go check out the podcast. I do want to talk about Guerrilla Radio because I think this is one of Zach's greatest vocal performances in anything he's ever done. Whether it was this band, it was One Day as a Lion, it was Run the Jewels, it was anything he's ever done. I think his vocal delivery on Guerrilla Radio is one of the greatest, one of the fucking greatest. I think you agree with me on that, right?
I would say so. I mean, he hasn't done like that much stuff to where I can compare it to. Like everything he's done is always, it's just such small quantities, right? Like nothing he's done where it's like, oh, I get like why you decided to change this and go into this, whatever. It's just he hasn't done enough things for me to compare it to. But yeah, dude, this is fucking amazing. Like he's, and they call it Guerrilla Radio too, and like the GUE, the Guerrilla. It's just like, damn, dude, like this is a call to arms if I ever fucking heard one. Like you're so mad. Now I'm mad. Everyone's mad, Ty. And so now we're all just fucking just shouting and being annoying. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, so his vocal delivery is great. Everybody else is really, really in that fucking groove. You know, Morello's not doing anything too crazy in the verse. He's just kind of that weird, that kind of like funky kind of little riff thing. And then Timmy C, that do 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 boom. Oh, it's so fucking good.
But all supplements Zach though, right?
It does 100%.
Like Zach's just kind of talking, and even like on the do 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 do, and like bam, Zach comes down on that backbeat right there. Come on, that's like hip hop through and through. It's so good.
And then also the way that that B-dubs, he builds up with that snare, that just that kind of the build up, and then he hits the little hi-hat on the side, like the like he hits that hi-hat at the very end right there. Oh, it's so fucking good. I love B-dubs on this song too. Like every member is absolutely perfect on this song. It's truly perfect. It's my 4B, but I mean, every member kills it, and Zach's best performance ever is on this particular song right here. I truly love it. Lyrically though, Sleep Now in the Fire. Well, but yeah, Guerrilla Radio. Lyrically, real quick though, this is about him just shouting out and saying the political parties don't even matter. They're one and the same. Who gives a fuck? Everybody's here to fuck you up. Especially coming after going into the Al Gore Bush election and everything. I mean, this came out in November of '99. This is like the lead up to the election. They played the DNC in LA, and there were riots, like literal fucking riots in LA at the time. It got so
trying to play rowdy. A free show the day before. Yeah. Like, let's play a free show just to for the fans, but really they did it just to be a fucking dickhead.
Exactly.
Which is fuck it, dude. That's punk, man. I love it.
Yeah.
And that was shut down.
It was, and
they do is shut down.
So he's talking about how like nothing's going to change unless like the people take over. They take over the airwaves. Guerrilla Radio. It's talking about people taking over the radio airwaves. Talking about taking over the TV and bringing to the people like what's actually happening in the world and how these corporations and big government is destroying everything. And he's saying how we all have to just stand up to it and we have to create something new.
What's interesting is how vocal the opposition was for G-dubs, and he got elected twice. and like how just the entire like Rock the Vote thing and just like the Rock Against Bush and just the underground, not mainstream, but like the underground mainstream was against Bush, and he got elected twice.
Yeah.
And then like how vocal it is for like against Trump, and he got elected twice. And it kind of just makes you think like, dude, you guys are just either none of y'all are fucking voting or y'all a bunch of posers. And like you're saying one thing, but you're voting another way.
Or the people that are most outspoken, there aren't as many people outspoken as you think.
And that's the media, dude.
That is. And we see it in modern times with social media. We see places like Twitter, now Blue Sky. You know, Blue Sky is the new big social media or big social media app. It's all an echo chamber. It's all a fucking echo chamber. You think you have this big way to communicate your thoughts and everybody agrees with you, but no, it's really not.
Gives a shit it's like what you're fucking saying.
Okay, so after all that kind of tangent and all that shit we were talking about, let's get into possibly just one more song, one I really want to talk about because I think it's a very personal song to Zach, something that he doesn't do a lot of. He doesn't talk about his personal life too much, or doesn't seem to get too vulnerable.
So Born of a Broken Man is what we're going to talk about.
Born of a Broken Man. Yes, correct.
Never a Broken Man.
Yes. So that is my 5B here.
Good.
I do really, really like the lyrics here. This is also a song that we did on the podcast, the Rage Against the Pod podcast. We really dove into it, but yeah, this song is about his dad. His dad was a very popular, I wouldn't say famous, but very popular artist in LA, a Chicano artist. He tried to bring people together within the community in LA, and he did a lot of things. And you look at pictures of his dad, dude, he looks him and Zach look identical. Like they literally look identical. It's crazy.
His dad looks cooler.
A little bit cooler. But eventually at some point, you know, he had you know, various mental illnesses, and he had a complete mental breakdown. He went on like a hunger strike. He was institutionalized for a while.
40 days.
Yeah. And he was institutionalized after that as well. So
can you go 40 if you're drinking water? Can you go 40 days without eating?
That's crazy.
Okay, so that's bullshit, crazy. Right?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think you can go like maybe 15 or 16 days without food.
He had to have eaten something.
Yeah, you had. I mean,
he's getting nutrition from somewhere.
Yeah, I think bullshit. 40 days is. I think that's
40 days. That's a month, bro. Yeah, that's over a month. That's no way.
I don't believe that. The first verse talks about his dad and the breakdown and all the mental illness. And then, you know, the hook and the chorus is him talking about how, like, he won't be like his father, and the breakdown and all this kind of stuff. Like, he doesn't want to be like his dad. Like, he's trying to distance himself from it. The second verse is just his like way of talking about, it's like going back to talking about his dad's illness again and the breakdown, but putting it in a very like much more poetic way. And like that second verse, I really love, like the way he describes his dad and the way his dad was dealing with his emotions and life at the time was like, God, his use of certain metaphors was fantastic in that second verse. I love the second verse in this. It's really good.
It's honestly, it's kind of a shocking verse because there's a lot of cheesiness going on, but he's not cheesy about it. Like the whole like the classic autumn leaves falling, right? That's a metaphor for like transition into something different. Usually like something somber, something death, something sad. That's a cheesy literary device, but he pulls it off nicely. It doesn't stay too long, and he moves on to the next. The shattered glass kind of motif, like the pieces are there, but they're broken and difficult to repair, but not impossible. Now you can glue them back together, and it'll hold water. It'll look different, but it's still there. And that goes back to like the broken man, but not a broken man line that he said. Like he's broke for sure. Like he's all fucked up, but he can still be fixed. There's still my dad in there somewhere. That's fucking sad, dude. And then the moths in the lampshade.
Oh, I love that. That whole last part of that verse is so good.
Like, dude is just pulling from like classic, like Walt Whitman shit or fucking Langston Hughes, just like classic, like poetic devices, just amazing stuffs, but very, very basic, very like layman, very, very good, very demure.
Yeah.
And that last line, like praying for someone to turn the light off, man, that's some fucked up shit. Like I see this as like Zach as a kid is seeing his dad just slowly deteriorate. And like it's a natural thing to think if you see someone deteriorate. It's like, bro, just die. Like just I know you're miserable. I'm miserable. Just die. And that's a fucked up thing to think. But like, man, dude, emotions are getting the best of you. So I get it. I get why he's probably thinking this, and he said it here, and that's some wild stuff. That's some wild stuff.
I know. It's really emotional. Like, you don't see another song where he is this vulnerable.
He's never done. Hold on there, dude.
That's a hard word to say, dude.
He's never done a song like this.
That's true. Your earbuds.
Like, can you not hear me? Can you not hear me when I take the earbuds out? That doesn't make any sense.
I can hear you when you talk, but I see the earbud fall out, and I see you grab it and put it back in your ear.
I put it back in there pretty quick. See that switch? You didn't see that switch, did you?
Well, I see everything. But no, I agree with you. This is it's a very sad thing, and I agree. We a lot of people have been, or a lot of us have been put into that position where it's like, is it when we see somebody like that, like, is it better just to wish not death upon them, but
you do. That's just do that. Get the fuck out of here. Like, if you're around someone that's been sick for a long time, and you like that cross thoughts your head. See that thought crosses your mind.
It does.
And you're like, damn, just like fucking die. You know what I mean? Like that's like the exhaustion coming out on you. And of course, like, you don't really want that, because after that person is now gone, you're like, fuck, man, like, why did I think that? And there's that whole thing. But like, I get it. Like, I understand like where he's coming from. That's tough to deal with, especially in America where healthcare system is so fucking garbage. And like, dude, just watching people just like struggle. And like, you've seen people fucking struggle. And
I know
that Santa Ana fucking place that you've been to, where like you literally just dump somebody off there, knowing that like, I'm not picking this person up alive.
Yeah. I mean,
Santa Ana, right? Was that Santa Ana?
It was Santa Ana. Yeah, it was Santa Ana. Yeah. I mean,
Lord,
with what I used to do with work, I mean, I used to see a lot of fucking crazy shit and a lot of corruption in hospitals and nursing facilities and a lot of fucked up shit. You have personal experience with that as well. I mean, it's
like, how is that even crazy. Fucking legal, dude? How is crazy. That Santa Ana fucking unencumbered?
We got a little bit deep. Got a little bit deep. So let's wrap it up. Let's give our final thoughts on this record. Rate this record based off of our 3-point rating system, where 3 is a perfect album, 2 is a good album you're going to continue to listen to, 1 is a bad album, give it a shot, and 0 is the worst thing you've ever heard. What do you got? If you want to listen to these songs or listen to us talk about these songs, go listen to Rage Against the Pod. So what do you got, Jeff? Final thoughts, rating, go.
I will say Born as Ghosts is the song that I am so excited about to get into on Rap Pod. Because Born as Ghosts, I was reading, I was like, dude, this is fucking good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I didn't go too in depth into it because I wanted to save it. But like, this may be as in depth as like Ashes, as Maria, as like Born the Broken Man. This is fucking a good song. Yeah. So I'm excited to get into that one. Overall here, we are perfect. Mic check barely hits that perfect mark, but it's a Fallen Interlude kind of song. You get that little vibe there with the Fallen
I get it.
On
I get
mic
it,
check, yeah.
Because it's more hip hop. Yeah, there's not a lot of ups and downs. It's very, very straightforward and more hip hop.
Yeah, we are perfect through fucking Maria. We are perfect through what the first 8 tracks. Voice of the Voiceless and New Millennium Homes. I know you like New Millennium Homes. Like, those are not perfect songs, dude.
It's mid-tier.
At best, man. They're meh songs. They really, really are. And then Ashes. And then I get why War Within a Breath is the last, because you can't end with Ashes in the Fall.
I think it's not a closer, though.
But it's not a closer. It's not set up to be a closer. It's set up to be, honestly, like Ashes in the Fall is set up to be like a 2 or 3 song. Like it should not have been 11. That's wild to me. The sequencing is wild. It doesn't make any sense. Ash is not a closer. It just doesn't make any sense as a closer. It's not like oh yeah, I'm thinking now, or like oh yeah, I'm decompressing for what just happened, or cycling back into track 1. It's a weird closer. So War Within a Breath, I get it. I understand why that's there, but it's an okay song. So I have 3 songs on this record out of 12 that are okay songs. Therefore, this is not going to get a perfect score for me because it's not a perfect record. I'm just saying. I just call them and seize them. That's all I can do. That's it. What do you want me to do? You want me to lie? If you want me to lie, I'll lie.
I don't want you to lie. I want you to stop being a fucking dumbass. That's what I want.
Me to lie.
I don't want you to lie. I don't, but I want you to stop being a dumbass and tell the truth. So what would you give this record out of 3?
That's my fake talking.
As you're still making mouth noises. You're making mouth noises.
It doesn't even look like I'm actually saying words. I think Zach has progressed like so far beyond the band from 2 to 3, from Evil Empire to Bola, and the band is just not keeping up. And that's not to say the band is bad, because I think the band is better than Zach was on their first record, and Zach has now had to get his shit together and step himself up. and step himself up. So I think this is damn close to a perfect, but I would do 2.8. I'll do 2.8.
You're so fucking dumb. Like,
it's not perfect, dude. It's just not. There are 2 or 3 tracks on here that are not perfect songs. They're just not. But what's stopping me from giving this a 2.5 is the fact that like Zach has now become this fucking like rap rock Walt Whitman, and I'm all for it. All for it.
All right.
There's some weird like newer Jack Carrell or some shit. Like it's just, damn, it's good.
It's great. Fantastic.
It's perfect.
All right. So 2.8 for you.
Give it your 3 and move on.
So I mean, I have 12 bangers on here. I have 12 bangers on here.
Of course you do.
I think this record is incredible musically, especially lyrically. It's a huge step up from Rage is Rage and Evil Empire lyrically. It's fucking fantastic. My 2 lowest songs are Mic Check and Voice of the Voiceless. Those are the 2 worst songs on the record, and they're not bad by any means. But in the end, they are a good transition between tracks. Like you need some break. Because with Mic Check, yes, it's a more straightforward hip hop song. It's not big bombastic, but you don't always need that. You need some reprieve. You need some to calm down a little bit. Not everything could just be punching you in the face. Voice of the Voiceless
is just a fucking intro.
Voice of the Voiceless. Yeah, it's like it's the shortest song on the record. It really is more of an interlude than anything else. Still fantastic. Still some great, amazing parts on here.
It sets up New Millennium Homes. That's all it does.
But it also is it's great coming off of Maria, because Maria is so emotional. There's so much going on here. And then you have the song Voice of the Voices. Like this is him saying like, I am the voice of you. Like I'm saying like, this is him saying, you know, I want to represent you. I want to represent what's wrong and the corruption in society. That's what Voice of the Voices is lyrically. And it's a great transition. It's a great transition from Maria into New Millennial Homes. I think it's fantastic. I don't think it's the greatest song on the record because it's the worst song on the record, but it's still fucking fantastic.
It's for sure the worst song on the record.
Yes. Yeah, it is. And we talked about that on Rage Against the Pod because we did Voice of the Voiceless on Rage Against the Pod.
That's true.
But anyway, with that being said, I don't do it often on the podcast. I really don't. But I will give this a 3 out of 3, a perfect 3 out of 3 on Asinine Radio. Here we go, baby girl.
There's like it's like Halloween all year round at your house. Like you just fucking give them out like it's fucking Halloween
fucking candy, huh?
Just constantly.
Well, that's wrong, dude. Well, I don't know. Thank you all for listening. This has been fun. Been a good time. I may edit some of this shit out because there were a lot of tangents.
Why would you edit any of this stuff out?
Because we're almost 2 hours in. I might edit some of this out. I don't know. But thank you all for listening. Go listen to Rage Against the Pod, the other podcasts that we've done for many years that we have not quite finished. Go check it out.
We will finish it now.
We will finish it. I mean, I feel really inspired.
I'm reunited, reinvigorated, re-inspired. Whatever is re like a pre thing too?
Re is a pre thing?
Should we get rid of re's? Like, I'm inspired. I'm not re-inspired. Like, you can be inspired, right? I'm inspired again.
Yeah, like
I don't have to say re-inspired. I'm inspired.
Yeah, you're okay. Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's true.
Are we on something?
We'll talk about that off the pod.
Let it percolate.
But yeah, go check out Rage Against the Pod. Let's fucking finish it. I mean, also we're doing 3 episodes in under a week just to kind of catch up, and these are long episodes, so we could seriously throw down 3 or 4 Rap Pod episodes in a couple
3,
days.
4 of them.
Yeah. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, however the days line up, we could do it. So thank you all for listening. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, give us 5 stars. If you're watching on YouTube, smash that subscribe button. Thanks again for listening and watching. And that's it. That's all.
Very grown up.